Greetings, and welcome to the High Flying Tutors Academy channel. Today, I'll be helping you on how to prepare your debtors collection schedule or your credit sales collection schedule. All right. So here is the information. They say business A presents the following information: sales projections, months there, and then we have got September, October, November, December, January, February, and March. And then they say number 2, sales are collected as follows: 60% of sales are cash, and these customers receive a 5% cash discount. Those who are buying for cash, they receive 5% discount. And then if 60% of sales are cash, meaning 40%, all right, 40% of sales are on credit. All right, and then they show you the credit policy. This is the credit policy on how you collect from your debtors. All right, they say 45% of debtors pay during the first month after the sale. All right, and then 35% of debtors pay during the second month after the sale. 18% of debtors pay during the third month after the sale. The outstanding debtors in the fourth month after the sale are bad debts or credit losses and will be written off. Draw up, as you are required, draw up debtors collection schedule for January, February, and March. All right, so when you prepare this, you must have a format like this where you're going to indicate the months that are provided there, the months. All right, and then you have to calculate credit sales because they gave you total sales where it also includes cash sales. All right, but you need to collect from credit sales when you collect. All right, and then they said to you, you are preparing the debtors collection schedule for January, February, and March. All right, so let's go there. For January, all right, February, and March, right? So let's go there and prepare these schedules, this budget or this debtors collection schedule. All right, and then let's see here. All right, and then now the months that are there that are given, you're going to outline all the months that are given from September to March. That's the first thing you must do. So we've got September, and then after September is October. You have November, December, January, February, and March. Okay, in March, and then that is the last month. Then you will have the total collections there for each month. All right, and then now we are done with the months that we are given there. Number 2, we are going to calculate credit sales. So remember, the additional information or the transactions are saying 60% of sales are cash, meaning 40% are on credit. Therefore, these amounts of sales here are total sales. These total sales include 40% of credit sales and 60% for cash sales. All right, so we are going to calculate. Number 1, we have 236,000, 236,000, 236,000, 236,000. You multiply by 40 divided by 100. All right, and then let's see how much is the credit sales. Let's see how much is the credit sales right there. Go to your calculator, and then 236,000 you multiply by 40, you divide by 100. times 40 divided by 100. I have a credit sales in September of 94,400. All right, and then I'm done with the credit sales for September. I go for October. For October, let's see how much sales we have for October. Total sales for October is 249,750. 249,750. 249,750. You multiply by 40 divided by 100, which is equal to, let's see, it's gonna be 249,750 multiplied by 40 divided by 100, and then I'm getting 99,900. 99,900 rent. Okay, that is your credit sales for. And then we go and calculate credit sales for November. Credit sales for November. Credit sales for November, right? So credit sales for November, total sales of 256,500. 256,500. 256,500. I multiply by 40. I divide by 100. All right. And then how much do I have right there? Let's see. Let's put that on the calculator as well. And then I've got 256,500. I multiply by 40. I divide by 100. Right. So I'm getting a credit sales of 102,600. All right. That is credit sales for November. Let's go to December. In December, I have 229,500. 229,500. Okay, so I'm gonna go there and calculate my credit sales. 229,500. 229,500. That's correct. And then I multiply by 40. I divide by 100, and then I will get my credit sales. My credit sales, how much is it? Let's put that on the calculator. Is going to be 229,500. You multiply by 40. You divide by 100. You divide by 100. So I'm having a credit sales of 91,800. All right, and then that is your credit sales for December. Credit sales for December that we are going to collect from. All right, and then for January, let's see how much is the sales for January. For January, I have got 243,000. 243,000. 243,000. You multiply by 40. You divide by 100. All right, then you're gonna get, let's see, put that on the calculator again. 243,000. You multiply by 40. You divide by 100, and then I'm getting a credit sales of 97,200. All right, that is what we are going to collect from for January. And then we go for February. For February, how much do you have right there? Let's see. For February, you have 270,000 total sales. So 270,000, you multiply by 40. All right, you divide by 100. How much is your credit sales that you need to collect from for February? 270,000. You multiply by 40. You divide by 100. All right, and then I'm getting a credit sales that I need to collect from February at which is 108,000. All right, and then I go for March. In March, is 275 total sales. So it's gonna be 275,000. You multiply by 40. You divide by 100. How much is your credit sales? How much is your credit sales? How much is your credit sales right there? 275. Gonna be 275,000. You multiply by 40 divided by 100. And then I am getting 110,000 credit sales for March. That's what I'm going to collect. So when we collect, we're going to collect from this one, this amount for, going to collect from this amount. All right. From there, and then for October, we're going to collect from this amount. And then for November, we're going to collect from this one. For December, we're going to collect from this one. For January, we're going to collect from this one. For February, we're going to collect from this one. And for March, we'll collect from this one. Done, right? So how do we collect? We collect based on the credit policy, right? On collection. Are you with me? So here, it starts from here. It says 45% of debtors pay during the first month after the sale. Meaning, if you made sales, in September, you are going to pay 45% in October. All right. And October is not part of 4 months that we need to collect from. All right. So we leave that one out. And then again, it says number 2, right there, it says 35% of debtors pay during the second month after the sale. Meaning, if you are still in September, you are going to collect 35% of what is being owed in September. You are going to collect 35% of what is being owed in September. All right. And then in December, you only gonna collect what? 18% right there. All right. 18%, because they say 18% of debtors pay during the third month after the sale. Meaning, as we look at our credit policy, meaning if you made a sale on credit in September, you need to collect 45% in October, and then you're going to collect 35% in November and 18% in December. And all these 3 months are not part of these months. We're not going to collect anything in September for our current month that we're dealing with for this budget. So I'm just going to put a dash there because there's nothing to collect in September for January in September. So I'm just going to put it there because for September we end collecting in December, so it doesn't affect January, February, and March. So we are done with September. All right, and then let's go to October. In October, remember the credit policy. We always have to focus and remember the credit policy. So the credit policy is, if you bought in October, you're gonna pay 45% during the first month after the sale. So the first month after the sale of October is November, so you're gonna pay 45% in November, remember, and then you're gonna pay 35% in December, because according to our credit policy collection, you have to collect 35% of debtors during the second month after the sale. So the second month is December of October, right, which is going to be 35%, and then the third month, which is 18%, is January, because the credit policy says 18% of debtors pay during the third month. During the third month of October is January. All right, meaning we have to collect for this. So we're going to collect 18% of this amount. Multiply by 18 divided by 100. All right. And then let's see how much you need to collect right there. Let me extend this so that we've got proper space there. Okay, right. And then it's equal to, and then 99,900 multiplied by 18 divided by 100. How much are you getting right there? Let's see. 99,900 multiplied by 18 divided by 100. I am getting 17,982. That is what you are going to collect. That is what you are going to collect for January, in January for the month of October. And then they didn't say anything about the first month, which is the 4th month of October, which is dash there. And they didn't say anything about the 5th month, so it's dash. So the last collection for October is January month, and it's part of our months for this budget. So we record that, and then we are done with October. And then we go to November. When we go to November again, let's see, we are going to still follow the same credit policy that says 45% of debtors paid during the first month after the sale. So the first month after the sale in November is December, meaning you're going to pay 45% in December, and December is not part of this month that we are dealing with for this budget, right? So we are going to ignore it, leave it out, all right? And then the second month after the sale, they say the second month after the sale, the debtor paid during the second month after the sale, 35%, all right? You pay 35% after sales. That means you as a business, you're going to collect 35% from your debtors in the second month after the sale. The second month of September after sale is January. So meaning you go to January, you're going to collect 35% of what is being credit sales in November, all right? So it's going to be 102,600. You multiply by 35, you divide by 100, all right? Let me extend this again. Need proper space and proper stuff there. Okay. All right. And then now, how much are we collecting there? Let's see. Put that on the calculator. It's going to be 102,600. You multiply by 35, divide by 100. And then you are going to collect how much right there? You are going to collect on November, you're going to collect 35,910. all right? And then you also need to collect, because this is 35%, there's still another third month, which is where you have to collect 18%. So you're going to collect 18% of November in February, all right? Which is going to be 102,600. You multiply by 18 out of 100, all right? Let me do this. Adjust this thing properly. Right, and then how much are you collecting for the month of February for the month of November in February? All right, so let's see that. Let's put that on the calculator. It's going to be 102,600. You multiply by the 18 out of 100. So I'm getting 18,468. all right, that is what you are going to collect for the third month after November. All right, and then that's the last month. The third month is the last month for collection. Therefore, you put a dash there, nothing to collect in March for the month of November. All right, and then we go to December. Remember, I'm always gonna go back to the credit policy, because that's what you need to do to avoid mistakes in the exam or in the test. You just have to go back to the credit policy and say, and remind yourself and catch up. So 45%, we are in December now. So 45% of December will be paid in January, and 35% of December will be paid in February, and 18% will be paid in March. So it covers all the months of our monthly budget here that we're dealing with, which is January, February, and March. So for December, you are going to collect in January 45%. So you multiply by 45, you divide by 100. all right, and then how much there? How much right there? And then it's going to be 91800. multiplied by 45 divided by 100. And then you are going to collect 41,000 for December. In January, you are collecting 41,310. All right, 41,310. Right. And then in February, for December, you are collecting 91,800 multiplied by 35 divided by 100. All right, let's see how much we are collecting. Let's put that on the calculator. Let's just put that on the calculator. And then it's going to be 91800 multiplied by 35 divided by 100. So you are collecting 32,130. 32,130. That is the second month of collection for December. All right. And then the third month you are collecting, remember, 18. So it's gonna be 91,800 multiplied by 18 divided by 100. All right. Just adjust that a bit. All right. And then it's equal to, let's see how much you are collecting. Let's put that on the calculator. It's going to be 91,800 multiplied by 18 divided by 100. And then you are collecting 16,524. That is what you are collecting. And then we are done. We are done for the month of December. All right. And then we proceed. We go to the month of January. All right. The month of January. Remember, in the month of January, you cannot collect because they are saying you're going to collect a month after. Let's go back to the policy again. The policy says 45%, which is the first collection percentage for collection. 45% of debtors paid during the first month after the sale. So January is the month of the sale. It's not the month after, so we're not going to collect anything. So for January, we are going to collect the first month in February and the second month in March. All right, so that's why I say I put a dash on February, and then on January, and then we are going to collect the first percentage, which is 35%, which is the first month after the sale, February. First month after sale of January is February, which is 45%. So we are going to say 97,200. We multiply by 45 divided by 100. All right. And then how much are you getting right there? Let's see. Accounting is so easy. So easy and enjoyable. Multiply by 45 divided by 100. And then in February, for January, the first month, you are going to collect 43,740. That is the collection on the first month of January. On the first month of collection for January, which is February. All right. And then you go further to collect for the second month. Remember, the second month is going to be 97,200 multiplied by the second percentage of collection is going to be 35%. All right. And then how much are you collecting there? Let's put that quickly on the calculator. And then you are going to say 97,200. You multiply by 35. You divide by 100. All right. And then you are going to collect 34,020. 34,020. All right. Very simple. Very simple. Very easy. Okay. And then for February. All right. For February there, remember the policy. we go back to the policy again. So February is our month of sale, and then we are going to collect after, right? So meaning dash there, because we're not going to collect anything in the previous month. And then even during the month of February, you're not collecting anything. So the first collection for February will be in March, which is 45%. All right. So it's 108,000. You multiply by 45 out of 100. Let's see how much you are collecting in the month of March for February. All right. Let's put that on the calculator and see how much are we getting. It's going to be 108,000 multiplied by 45 divided by 100, and then I am getting 46,000. I mean 48,000. 48,000. I'm getting 48,600. All right, and then we are done with the month of February. Right, we collected, and then for the month of March, we cannot collect during the month of March. We have to collect the following month. We have to collect the following month. Therefore, we're not collecting anything even in February, and we're not collecting anything even in January. And then we'll be done. All right. Then we'll be done with that. And then now we can calculate the total of what we are going to collect in January. So in January, we're going to collect a total of how much? 17,982 plus 35,910 plus 41,310. So in January, we are going to collect a total amount of 95,202. Okay, and then in February, we are going to add from 468 plus 32,130 plus 43,740, and then we are going to collect a total amount of 94,338. Okay, and then in March, we are going to collect how much? We're going to calculate from 16,524 plus 34,020 plus 48,600. Okay, and then we are going to collect 99,144. All right, and then that is all for our debtors collection schedule. That is all for our debtors collection schedule. All right, and then that's it. Okay, so do not forget to subscribe, like, and share, and please note that we also offer our private tutorials for accounting from grade 10 and until university. All right, so if you need help, you can just put a comment there. And please, if you are benefiting from this channel and you think you want to give something, there is a thanks giving there with a sign of $1. You can just click there, follow the process to donate whatsoever amount you want to donate with to us, and we'll really appreciate that. And good luck with your exams. Salute.